Cenk Uygur, I mean, there's your answer from a former commander of NATO forces, which is it's not just about Israel wanting this to happen. It is in America's strategic interest to prevent Iran developing nuclear weapons.
Nonsense. So, I mean, I really respect General Clark. I don't know what's happened to him. That letter was very clear. They did, the neocons and Israel First did execute it. They have knocked out 6 to 7 of those countries, just like they said they would. They've gone to Iran at the end, just like they said they would. If we're talking about a country that is destabilizing the region and the world with endless wars, that country is Israel. I mean, look, this whole thing is topsy-turvy. The whole framing of the discussion is ludicrous. Israel has attacked 7 of its neighbors, not Iran. Israel forced us into the Iraq war, and they said it would be easy, and it was a disaster. They said they were doing it for the Iranian people, and then we wound up killing hundreds of thousands of Iraqis. We lost thousands of our own men. The fake weapons of mass destruction evidence came from where? It came from Israel. They pushed us into the war with Libya. Now there's modern day slavery back in Libya. Every war they have pushed us into has cost us trillions. Hold on, General.
Notice who interrupted first here, because he's going to start crying when they interrupt him back in a minute.
Clark, hold on. They have cost us trillions of dollars. Yeah, you know that. And they have cost us blood and treasure. And it's Israel doing it, General Clark. Be a patriot. Be a patriot. Stand up for America, not for Israel. I'm not going to go to another war for Israel. We're not going to spend trillions more for Israel. We're not going to lose American soldiers for Israel. The Israelis have bought 94% of Congress. The Israelis have bought Donald Trump. And this is a fact. And you guys keep obfuscating these facts.
Can we have some respect for the general, please?
Yeah, have respect for the guy who just interrupted you. No.
I think he doesn't deserve to be screamed at.
No, he's interrupting me. He should have respect for the American people, 85% of whom do not want to go. General Clark, why are you pushing us into this war when 85% of Americans don't want it? And you yourself know that the neocons have wanted this war for 20 years. Our interests? What interest? We said nuclear, and then we got rid of their nuclear facilities. Then now all of a sudden ballistic missiles. General Clark, tell me with a straight face that we have a right to demand that any country end their ballistic missile program.
Why don't you stop
ballistic missiles? We'd have to get rid of the whole world for Israel if we're going to get rid of ballistic missiles.
Let him respond.
Of courtesy to other people. Now,
General Clark,
you want to hear what I say? Listen. First of all, there is no they there. We've been through the Bush administration. There were neocons. We've been through the Obama administration. There were no neocons there. We've been through the Trump administration. He didn't want a war. We've been through the Biden administration.
This pawpaw is delusional. The Zionists have been there my entire life. I don't know what he's talking about, but we have had Zionists since well before the 70s. This has been an ongoing issue that he can't see. And he was right there with it. Like,
now we're another Trump administration. When you say they, there's no they there. There's no secret plot behind this.
Israeli lobby's the number one.
Kennedy wanted AIPAC registered as a foreign government, just like every other lobby group has to do when they're representing foreign governments. He wanted AIPAC to be too, and now he's no longer with us. That's how they handle things.
One donor to every single person you mentioned. Biden, Trump, every one of them. The Israeli lobby has been here the whole time, General Clark. Wakey, wakey.
I don't get a chance to talk.
Cenk, please let General Clark finish his point.
Common courtesy. Now just
I agree. I agree. Cenk, let the general respond.
Let the general who interrupted you respond without interrupting him back. Good point.
And I'm going to say it not just to you, but to all the other panelists. So there's no they there. This is about national interests. And you can go through these states one by one.
Notice how he just does an assertion there. There is no they there. Prove it. Prove it, old man. Just saying it doesn't make it so.
I won. First of all, I was against the invasion of Iraq. I knew it was a mistake and it wasn't going to work out well. I was against it.
But we did it anyway.
But it's the men and women in uniform. Of course, you're not against your own soldiers fighting. You want them to succeed. But the mission was a bad mission, and I called it for that. Syria, there was a revolution there. President Obama said Bashar Assad shouldn't stay in charge. But unfortunately, he did until Turkey got rid of him. On Libya, I warned the United States not to intervene because there was no follow-on for that, and we've still got a mess in Libya. We've never been able to come to terms with Darfur, Sudan, and what's happening in the center of Africa.
Notice how he's going through all these military incursions we had to go on because of Israel. But this one's a good one. Yay, we finally got to a good one.
Now, when you turn to Iran, Iran has been a continuous problem for the United States. They killed hundreds of our soldiers with the explosively formed penetrators when we were in Iraq.
Right. When we go to their lands and their countries that are neighboring them, yes, they might get involved. But if we didn't send them there, which you already said was a bad idea, would those people have died? Nope. So how are they our enemy? We're their enemy, but they're not doing much to us here. They're bombing Israel. They're not bombing America. So why do we need to go fight them? They never can answer this. Just, oh, they bomb people whenever we invade them. Well, stop invading them.
They started this thing back in the late 1970s, early 80s. They assassinated a bunch of Iranian generals because they'd been to school in the United States. So what's their beef with the United States? They want trouble from the United States. That's their raison d'etre. That's what keeps the, well, you can shake your head, but I'm telling you, look at the propaganda.
Even when they do bomb us back, they let us know where they're going to bomb us so no one gets hurt, so it doesn't escalate things. How are they the awful ones? Israel wouldn't do that for us. They steal from us. They're a leech. They're not our friends.
So is Israel concerned? Of course Israel should be concerned. And
that's all that matters. If Israel's concerned, we have to do something.
Ayatollah has said, and others, when they get nuclear weapons, they're going to use them. Now, I've been all through the Gulf leadership. Maybe you've talked to those leaders too, but I have, and they don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. They can't do much about it.
Did you ask them if they wanted Israel to have one? I'd be really curious. Did you ask those same people, hey, how do you feel about Israel having them and just lying about it? Did you ask them that?
But they hope that we will. And unfortunately, the agreement that we thought we solved it with in 2015 was thrown out in 2018. And I agree that
I'll bet you we could get Iran to agree to never have nuclear weapons if we also get Israel to give up theirs. How about we propose that to them? We take away Israel's nuclear weapons and then you just agree to never have them. Wouldn't that be a good agreement? We get rid of both sides that have nuclear weapons. We want no nuclear weapons in the world, so that's a better thing than just letting Israel keep theirs and fighting against Iran, trying to get one too.
That agreement wasn't a great agreement. It didn't stop their ballistic missiles, and it didn't stop their axis of resistance. It didn't deal with Hezbollah, but it was an agreement. Now, we don't have anything, and so we're on the precipice of another set of military strikes in the region. Is that a good thing? No, it's not a good thing. It'd be a lot better if Iran would simply become a normal state, engage in trade, work with its neighbors, stop trying to take over the region, stop threatening Israel. But Iran doesn't seem, under its present regime, to want to do that. So that's where we're headed. Thank you, Piers.
This dude needs to go back to picking blueberries or whatever he was doing, because he is not doing very well here.
Okay, let me wait 1 second. I will come to everybody, but I want to get Dave Smith's response to that. Dave Smith.
Okay, well, I mean, if the general who is on the record, not just on that Amy Goodman interview, but here on this show, Piers, who said the plans went back a decade before that, and that they were resurrected in a study paid for by the Israelis. If he's walking away from that or saying, well, yeah, that happened, but there were 4 different administrations in there, so there's no they there. Well, as Cenk was pointing out there, Benjamin Netanyahu's been here pretty much the entire time. The Israel lobby's been here pretty much the entire time. And
yeah, I'm no fan of Hassan at all.
Certainly have to admit, sir, it's an awfully big coincidence that you saw that there was a plan to overthrow 7 countries And that since that time, now, obviously, none of us are arguing it didn't happen the way you said it was going to. It's supposed to happen in 5 years. And obviously, the war in Iraq ended up being a quagmire that was unforeseen by most of the military establishment at the time. But Israel and or the United States of America have attacked all of those countries, maybe minus Sudan, which kind of collapsed without those attacks. That would seem to be a huge coincidence there. And it seems much more likely that those entrenched interests that were pushing for that continued to push for that over all of these years, especially when the fact is that we can look at who's been advocating for all of these policies over the years, and it's been Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israel Firsters and the Israel Lobby and all of them. I think it's kind of crazy to expect us to somehow get them out of any responsibility for this. And in terms of, Piers, just last summer, I was on this show. We were having a bunch of arguments. Everybody back then said it was about the 60% enriched uranium, that I was crazy for claiming that this was about a regime change operation. And here we are a few months later. President Trump has boasted that he obliterated their nuclear program, that it's no issue. And yet we still need to go back to war with Iran once again. The fact of the matter is that the impetus for the global war on terrorism to begin with was our beef with radical Sunni terrorist groups. There's no reason for the United States of America to be at war with the Shiites. And you can mention, by the way, I don't think the general is correct in saying that Iran was responsible for killing that many soldiers in Iraq. I think they were Iraqi Shiites, and I think most of those roadside bombs were made in Iraq. My friend Scott Horton has demonstrated this in his great book, Enough Already. But the bottom line is just that we are $38 trillion in debt. Well, one second, General, and I won't interrupt you.
Generals love interrupting and then crying when people interrupt them back in the middle of their interruption.
No. Well, let me just finish my point. And then, okay. I don't think that's true, but regardless.
This is why we take their licenses away.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Listen. I said 38. Is it 39 or 40? I can't keep track anymore. We're close to $40 trillion in debt. We have major problems in our own country, including a drug overdose epidemic, a homelessness epidemic. We have we have tens of millions of people who are in our country illegally, and yet we're flirting with what is obviously, definitionally, a war of choice, a war of aggression. We're not responding to an attack from Iran, and to move all these goalposts. Oh, they support proxies in the region. They have intercontinental ballistic missiles. Yeah, in other words, they're a government. Yes, in other words, they haven't just completely, as Witkoff said the other day, that Trump was curious.
Canada has missiles too. Let's go get them.
Why they haven't capitulated. In other words, they haven't completely capitulated to us and said they're going to make themselves entirely defenseless against the Israelis who attack them throughout the years with impunity. This is ridiculous. We have no need to fight this war. We're flirting with another catastrophe for no reason.
Okay, let me bring in the two ladies who've been waiting very patiently. Elica, I'll come to you one moment, but let Goldie Gamari respond first, and then Elica. Goldie first.
Well, thank you so much, Piers. First of all, I just want to thank the general for his service and thank all American military for everything they've done to defend democracy and freedom around the world. So thank you for your service, General. So the way that we have to frame this and the way that we have to look at it, Piers, is that right now we are in a forever war with the Islamic regime. And what happened is back in 1979, it was Jimmy Carter and the Democrats that backed the IOC.
Who is we that she's talking about? Like, is she including me in that we? Like, I'm supposed to know we were at war with Iran all these years? Like, how would I know that? They've done nothing to us, so how would I know?
And that's what basically led to the Islamic coup d'etat. And so right now, Iran is unfortunately a failed state. And so what Iranians are trying to do is, we're trying to rectify the mistake. Is regime change the goal? 100%. Absolutely. We Iranians, we have been trying to fix Jimmy Carter's mistake.
Why does she think it's our job to go fix their government? Is that what, like, I don't remember that in the Constitution when I read it last. I don't remember saying we're going to go and take down all the governments around the world that we don't like. That's not a part of America. That is not what we do. It's not what we're supposed to do. It's what we've been doing, but it's not what we're going to continue doing.
Mistake since 1979. And this is the first time since the Islamic regime took over that we actually have a United States.
The reason they don't want Iran to have nuclear weapons so bad is because then they can't bully them like this. Do you notice they don't mess with North Korea because they got them, or they say they got them? I don't even know if they really do, but they say they have them, so they give them the respect as another country that has nuclear weapons, so you don't even mess with them. They're afraid to do that because they want to be able to bully them so Israel can get bigger. That's the whole point of this.
States president who is standing with the Iranian people, recognizing full well that U.S. and Iranian interests are aligned right now. And by Iranian, I mean the Iranian people. I don't mean the Islamic regime that's occupying us. Because, you know, as the general said, prior to 1979, Iran and the United States were allies. So right now, the country is currently in that failed state situation. And I can say that, Iranians in occupied Iran are incredibly grateful that the United States is coming to help liberate them. This is not a war, Piers. This is not a war. This is a rescue mission. The United States is coming to help rescue 90 million Iranians who have been held hostage.
Because we do that so often. We're always rescuing people around the world, like foreigners that have nothing to do with us. Like, you could really make that argument. We should be invading North Korea right now. They're starving their people. It's being ran shittily. Like, why are we not invading them? Because they have a nuclear weapon, or they pretend like it, and that's why they don't want Iran to get one. Because then we'll just have to respect their sovereignty as a country too. Who wants to do that?
Hostage by a brutal and savage dictatorship. With respect to what Dave Smith was saying about the proxies,
Exactly.
I'll leave that up to the general.
All of them.
Okay, Elica.
Nonsense.
So when there's these constant examples of where the US has failed in intervention, you have to wonder, why is it that they keep repeating the worst case scenarios? Why don't they talk about the US intervention in Kuwait to stop Iraq's intervention, right? Which actually led to stability in Kuwait. Why don't we talk about Bosnia? Why don't we talk about Kosovo? Why don't we talk about the times where NATO and the US have done tremendous work to bring stability with targeted strikes, okay? The reason that they keep mentioning this is because they want to constantly frame this.
She just brought up a 20-year Quagmire war as a success. That's the way these people think. Right? They don't care if we're there until our grandchildren are adults. They just want us to keep fighting for them. How is that a success? Iraq was a success. Afghanistan, you think that was a success? Like, we got out of there like we were boyfriends sneaking out the fucking window, and we left about $1 billion or $2 billion worth of equipment or more. What? How are those successes? We look like assholes.
In the worst case scenario for the US, so as to defend the terrorist regime, which makes you wonder why. Second of all, this claim that we don't want to, intervene in Iran because it's going to be a failed state and it's going to kill hundreds of thousands of people. I'm sorry, you don't care now that it's a failed state. You don't care now how many people are being killed. You want to talk about Iraq? You want to say hundreds of thousands of people were killed in Iraq? How many people did Saddam Hussein kill? 180,000 Kurds alone, chemical genocide against Kurds, the ethnic cleansing of Turks,
and
of
we
Kurds,
backed them.
of Shia Muslims. So you want to say...
How many people did Russia kill during the Cold War? Or even before that, like before we even got to the Cold War? They were awful too. They're awful countries around the globe. Why is it our responsibility to go fight them all? Right? Why? Why is that our job? And why do we pick and choose the ones that have oil so that we can use your brain? Use your brain. This is not about humanitarian anything. It never is.
That if we should have just left Saddam Hussein, and he's expanding his war in Kuwait, his war in Iran, and you want to say that what the US did was so bad, fine, it was bad, but before it was worse. And if it was left unchecked, how much worse would it be? So this isn't about what the facts are. This is about how you are looking at the facts. And this isn't, no, we don't interrupt. This is...
Yes, we do.
I was just going to ask a question. You interrupted me before plenty of times.
Ask me my question after. You can ask me my question.
Yeah, you're not my teacher, so don't scold me.
Stop.
Keep interrupting her, Dave, please.
Just stop. We're not looking at this through the lens of fact. We're looking at this through the lens of how can we look at this in the most negative way so we don't support attacks on the regime. Second of all, this constant thing about Israel is the one that wants this war. We have all conceded and acknowledged that Israel does for obvious reasons. You're talking about, you take Israel and you take the IRGC, you take this terrorist regime that has enshrined an eschatological vision to eliminate Israel in its charter and has repeatedly acted on that vision. Any sane country in the world, whether it was US or Israel, would obviously want to protect itself. So you're talking about a liberal democracy that seeks safety and
She acts like we're mad that they're trying to defend themselves. No, defend yourself away. Stop making us go defend you. I don't give a shit if you defend yourself. Good for you. That's not our issue. We don't give a fuck what goes on over there. I don't care how many Israelis they kill, and I don't care how many Israelis kill Iranians. That's not our issue.
protection of its own people. And you're talking about a terrorist state that wants to eliminate that state. And so to even look at this in any other lens is just to be out of touch with reality. You talk about Israel doing these strikes on Hezbollah, when Hezbollah is the one that is throwing its rockets into Israel. You talk about its strikes on the Houthis. Think about this.
I don't even understand how these people get to be commentators. Pretend like he shopped a dozen different excuses he was going to go and invade them for. They even got up to, they say, death to America, and nobody went for that because we have freedom of speech. So they were shopping an excuse for this war. They were going to do it no matter what. And she's pretending like we can't see that. Like he made up some of the dumbest excuses. Oh, they're going to have they're having a revolution. They're going to kill all these revolution people that we armed. We set that up. That was us. That wasn't some spontaneous thing where these people just found some guns and decided to go start a civil war. No, we started that. And Trump has already admitted to it. So what are they talking about?
The regime created the regime created Hezbollah as a second IRGC to station it in the closest border to Israel for the sole purpose of eliminating Israel and creating a second Islamic Republic in Lebanon. Now, you want to say that in response to that, Israel should just bend over and do nothing? Of course, Israel wants this war because it is.
Come on! How much more can Israel do?
It is
endless goddamn war because of Israel. Can I respond to this?
Sorry.
She's still not getting it. We don't care if Israel does that. Do whatever you want. Stop making us do it.
Utter rubbish. This garbage Israeli propaganda.
Anti-Semitism is a mind virus, and you've lost your mind. Okay, so just be quiet.
Yeah. Anti-Semitism. Blah, 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 blah. We've heard that garbage over and over to shield Israel from criticism. We're not going to take it anymore. You call the whole country anti-Semites. You think Israel has called all of America anti-Semites. 85% of us don't want this war, and then you come in and go, "You dirty anti-Semite Americans! You owe us more war! You owe us trillions of dollars! We are beloved Israel! We want endless war!"
One question for you, Cenk. One question for you. What percentage of Germans were anti-Semites?
What the hell does that have to do with this? The real fascists.
Yeah, give me that information. Tell me what was in their heads. Please go tell me what all those dead people, what were they thinking? Is this what?
Israel.
Is that really a gotcha?
You want to ask me what percentage of Israel are